What's going on? This is Ryan with Automatic Comics, and up next, just got back another CGC submission. I've got 25 books in here. I'm going to do 12 or 13 in this video. Some cool books, so stay tuned. I have not checked the grades, so let's see how we did. Alright, so before we get started, please remember to hit that like button and hit the subscribe button if you'd like to see more content like this. If you've seen my other CGC unboxing videos, you know basically what I do is I don't check the grades beforehand. I then take the books out. I've got my grade estimates written down on a sheet of paper here. I bring the book down from the top. I don't show the top of the book because that's where the grade is, and then I reveal it and we see how I did on my grade estimate versus what I got from CGC. So far, I've been pretty pleased overall with the grading. I feel like my grades have been pretty much right on point for the most part with what CGC has provided. I've had a couple disappointments, a few nice upside surprises, but overall I've been actually pretty pleased with all the grading. Now I also want to say thank you to Chimp Supreme. He was the winner of the last giveaway. I'll put his comment somewhere in here. That was the first modern Star-Lord, the Peter Quill Star-Lord, as well as that X-Force 1 Deadpool sealed book. So that's off on its way to him. But thank you for watching the channel. I'll be doing another giveaway soon. I have to just decide what I'm going to do for that one. So stay tuned for another giveaway. Now, a quick thing about this submission. This submission was a fast track economy submission. That means it's books that you estimate as ungraded or raw or whatever you want to say as $400 or less, and they're books that are older than 1975. And so you can't do the fast track modern. Those have to be 1975 or newer. So these are pre-1975 and have that value up to around $400. After grading, hopefully some of these will be higher than $400. Now, just for pricing, I know some people like to kind of have an idea what this stuff costs to get graded and everything. And this is why, to me, I really do try to make sure I'm at that upper end of that range, because grading was $47 per book after you take into account shipping and the 10% discount that I get from my account. And then the cleaning and pressing, I think, was around $33 per book because it was about $80 total. Now, that is a little higher than what the normal price is, but I paid for the fast track pressing and cleaning too. So it came to, I think, around $33 per book for that, and then the 47, so about $80 total. So you want to make sure that after your cost into the book, plus the cost of pressing and cleaning and grading and everything like that, especially if you're trying to sell the books, that you're still, the book is worth more than what you have into it. So that's always something to consider. All right, so like I said, I've got 25 books here. I'm going to cut into this box and we'll do 12 or 13. I'll kind of look at the time, see how it's doing. And I'm going to try to go from, alphabetical from front to back, but I don't really know which way they put them in here. So we'll see. Now I flipped the box upside down like I've done in the past. So hopefully the books are actually oriented correctly, so it means I won't be able to see the grades from this side. I won't look anyway, but it just makes it a little easier for me to not look. All right. Okay, so these ones all packaged well. Again, they've got that, let's see. They put this stuff on the top and on the bottom, on the sides. It's still, I feel like these 25 book submissions, they're a little heavy for the boxes, for the packaging. I kind of wish CGC would just start using smaller boxes, restricted to 20. It would cost a little more, but at least then I think the likelihood of damaged cases and everything would go down. So I'm just going to try to see which... All right. It doesn't really look like they're in order. So let's see what this side is. Okay, maybe they're kind of in order. So I'm going to start from this side. I want to start from the A's, which, if you can guess, is Amazing Spider-Man. I have a few Amazing Spider-Man books in here. This is one of them. Make sure I got it right. All right, yes. All right, so this is Amazing Spider-Man number 31. This is the first appearance of Gwen Stacy and Harry Osborn. It's a really nice looking cover when it doesn't have a bunch of creasing on it. This one actually presents pretty well, but it has a fair amount of wear just along the spine. And so I had this one at a 4 to a 4.5. Let's see how we did. 5.0, nice. That's nice getting a little bit up on this one because it really is it's a book that's been getting really a lot more expensive ever since we saw all the spike in the popularity of Spider-Gwen. This is that, you know, the first time you get Gwen Stacy. And so this is kind of going all the way back to that origin of that character. And so this book had been, I felt, undervalued for a long time. I think it's finally getting its due. A lot of people don't like this cover. It is kind of a weird cover, but you know, when you have one that looks like clean like this without the creasing, the red just really pops. And so 5-0, off-white to white pages. Yeah, there you go. First appearance of Gwen Stacy, Harry Osborn, and Professor Miles Warren. But yeah, really nice Amazing Spider-Man key. Happy with that. All right. But oh yeah, and then just kind of so you can see, like that's that wear along the spine that I was talking about, where I was kind of holding that book back a little bit. But yeah, otherwise a very nice presenting copy of this. Okay, so let's see if these are in order. I should have a few more Amazing Spider-Man books coming out. So yes, all right, so this is Amazing Spider-Man number 41. There should be 2 copies of this book. This is the first appearance of Rhino. Awesome cover. I don't know which copy this is. One of them I had as a 4.0, one of them I had as a 5.5. The 4.0 had a lot of writing indentation on it, so I was hoping Preston could get at least some of that out. I don't know which copy this is, so let's see which one, what we got. 4.5, so that doesn't really help me. So I'm hoping this is the 4.0 one. Yes, it definitely is. This is the 4.0 one because you can still kind of see the indentations, but they're much better. I mean, it was bad. It was basically like you could tell what a lot of kids would do is they would trace on the character to learn how to draw that character, and somebody traced on this one a lot. I mean, it was just tracing on absolutely everything. And you know, 4.5 again, off white to white pages. First appearance of Rhino. Just a nice book. Happy to get that, you know, that half grade higher. It was one of those where I wasn't really sure how much that on the back, yeah, that looks really nice. That is really clean looking. I wasn't sure how much that indentation could really come out, and it came out well, getting that 4.5. Awesome for that. All right, so that means I'm hoping that this next one is in the 5.5 range. This one did not have any tracing or anything like that, just some generalized wear. So yeah, Rhino again, don't need to talk about the book. Let's see what we did. 5.0. All right, so a little down on that one. So a little up on one, a little down on the other. Man, that is a nice looking 5.0. It does have, I mean, it has some spine wear, you know, like that. You can see it, that rub along the spine. And I guess after getting, I had that Eerie Comics number 1 that had a lot of spine wear like that, and it got a 5.0. I can see it. But this is the type of wear on a book where you can get a really, really nice presenting book, and it's going to have a little lower grade, and so it's not going to be quite as expensive. I mean, yeah, 5.0 versus 5.5 is not a huge deal, but again, off-white to white pages, you know, pretty decent page quality, but really a very nice presenting book. You've got some spine wear or some corner wear right there, but no real big creases or anything on the cover. And it's just that, you know, that color rub basically along the spine. And then, you know, back cover looks nice. So, all right, a 4.5 and a 5.0. Can't complain about that. All right, now the next one should be the last Spider-Man book in here. And this one's interesting. We'll see if they make a notation on the label about this one, because this one only had one staple, but it was a manufacturing defect. There were no... Oh, no, this is a different book. All right, so maybe that one is in a different spot. All right, so this is actually the Atom number 1. So this is not Amazing Spider-Man number 42, which is what I thought it was going to be. This is the Atom number 1. This is not the first appearance of the Atom. This is just his first issue of his self-titled series. This is a pretty tough book to get in nice condition. I had this one at a 7.0. I felt like maybe I was even being a little generous on that, though, but, you know, we'll see. Hopefully it turned out well after a clean and a press, but... Oh, wow. 8.5. That... Oh, my God. I got to look up the pricing on that. I'll put the pricing on an 8.5 right here. That is a monster for this book. Okay, so, and also this is a first appearance of the Plant Master. But holy cow. 8.5. man, that is, oh God. This is what I say. So I get my books clean and pressed, or this submission was clean and pressed by the comic book presser. I will put his details in the comments because he has done an amazing job. He has gotten me some really nice grades on some of these books that I was not expecting to get up into that 8.5 range. This feels very similar to the X-Men #9, where I had that one down at like a 6.57, and then after pressing, just, man, killer book. 8.5. This is a monster. And we just saw this character in the Black Adam trailer, and so I don't know if that'll bring any new attention to the Atom or anything like that, but this is a tough book in high grade. That is a killer grade. Thank you, Comic Book Presser. That is awesome. All right, that is definitely that might be the biggest surprise I get in this unboxing. That is a big surprise. That's an expensive book, because that's pretty early Silver Age DC. That's 1962. So let's see. All right, I have no idea where my ASM 42 is. Hopefully I come across it at some point. So this is Avengers number 48. Other than the copy that I bought off my buddy Jake, like an 8.5, this was the first copy of this book I had ever gotten, and this was in the collection that I bought back in February. Now, this whole collection generally, to me, it looked lower grade. It was like the highest grades were maybe like a 5, 5.5, somewhere in there, but most of the books down in the 2.0 to 3.0 type range, even some a little lower than that. Just they had been left in a shed for years and years and years, and got water damage, moisture damage, a lot of like foxing or kind of like mold spots, that kind of thing. So this is a pretty nice presenting copy. This is the first appearance of the third Black Knight. This is Dane Whitman as Black Knight. And I had this one at a 4 to a 4.5. I would love it went a little bit higher, but let's see. Yeah, 6.0. Nice. I was wondering, honestly, because really the thing that made me think I was probably going to get a higher grade than this, because the 4 to 4.5 is the grade that I gave it, a few months ago before I sent these out. But I got that Silver Surfer number 4 back. That I had it as a 5.5 because it had a fair amount of foxing, which these have. And this one had a fair amount of foxing on it as well. I mean, so you can see it on the front cover there. You can see it on the back cover along the edges. The foxing, if you're not familiar, it's basically these brown dots that are on the cover. And I'd been hitting the books for that foxing, and CGC is not hitting them like I usually would treat it like tanning, and they don't seem to be hitting it like I have been historically. And so, yeah, I'm not surprised it got a higher grade. It's just the foxing really doesn't seem to be hurting the books as much as I was expecting it to hurt it. I usually treat it like tanning, and they don't seem to be hitting it for that foxing. So 6.0 and white pages. I didn't even notice that. That's crazy. This book's sitting in a shed, getting all wet and everything for a long time, and still gets a 6.0 white pages. That's a nice book. Again, that's why you get your books pressed and cleaned. And I've mentioned certain things with grading that I like to make note of. If I notice that it seems like maybe foxing isn't getting treated as harshly, then that's something I'll make a note of. Whereas what I have noticed as well is I've talked about how spine splits have been getting hit really, really hard. So if I'm looking at a raw book, or somebody's talking about a raw book on a live sale, and they talk about like something split down here or up here, I get nervous and a little cautious, because I've been just getting hammered on spine splits. But with foxing, I'm not. And so something to be aware of, that foxing seems to really not be hurting the grades as much as I would expect right now. Spine splits do, though. Be very wary of spine splits. All right. So this looks like this is the Spider-Man. This is Amazing Spider-Man number 42. This is the one I was talking about before. Not the best cover or anything, but it's the second appearance of Rhino. But the big thing with this book is that this is when she says that line, like, face it, tiger, you hit the jackpot. And so this one, though, I was a little nervous about it because it only had the one staple, and CGC's been real, iffy with how they've been handling books, and they might just, tear the cover off or something when they're reviewing, because this is a really nice presenting copy. I had this one at a 7.5, largely because it had this really strange flaw down here, which when I showed it's this spot right there. When I showed this book in a prior video, somebody commented that that's actually a printer defect. When the ink was getting laid down, there was something on the cover, and that caused that spot there. It's not a hole or anything like that. So it might not actually hurt the grade, could get a better grade. But I was interested to see if they actually make a notation on the label or not about this being a single staple book. But let's see. 9.0. Oh man, that is great. That's what I was worried about. I thought they might hit me like a stain or something for this one, and they didn't. And I knew this was a super clean book. I had been thinking possible into the 9s, and but I wasn't sure how that would hit it. And clearly they did recognize that as a manufacturing defect and did not hit the book for that. Because otherwise, yeah, it's a stunning book. I mean, I never would say that this book was a 7.5 if I didn't think they might hit it for that. Because, I mean, look at this thing. You've got a little damage down in this corner here, and then just a couple spine ticks. You know, maybe like 4 or 5 spine ticks. But otherwise, just a stunning copy of this book. I mean, it's just like a razor edge on those edges. There's the back cover. There's a little bit of tanning to this one. You can see on the bottom there. You can still get into those 9s with that. So, wow. 9.0, off-white. And you've got second appearance of the Rhino, first time cameo on last page, Mary Jane Watson's face revealed. That's a big book, and it's nice to know that, you know, so to the commenter, they were definitely correct. That would have been a manufacturing defect, did not hurt the grade, and yeah, just killer book. 9.0. That's awesome. So yes, very happy about that. Again, that's not one that I'm like super surprised about, because I was thinking if that did get marked as a manufacturer's defect, it could go higher, and definitely did. So, all right, I'm gonna shift these books in the box. Let's see what we've got next. I'm thinking this might be the Avengers 57. It is. All right. So, this is Avengers 57. This is one of the coolest covers from the Silver Age. Definitely one of the coolest covers from the Avengers run. First appearance of the Vision. I love these like monochrome type covers, like you have with the early Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles books. Now, this is also a stunning copy of this book. I had it at a 7 to a 7.5, but it honestly looks better than that, but there's a small amount of staining up in one of the corners on the back cover, and you actually can see it on the front cover on the inside, and CGC has been hitting staining really, really hard. I would, again, if they decide they don't want to hit it hard, I'll be happy about it, but I had it at 7.75. Yeah, 7.5. Okay, so yeah, it's largely that staining. Let's see if I can show it a little bit. So you can see it up in the corner there. There's a little bit of staining there, and it's on the front too, on the same side, but you can't really see it with the dark cover. The main flaws on this book are that corner crease, and then these little light finger bends, or whatever you want to call them, on the top. But otherwise, it's just a really stunning copy of this book. I picked this one up from Roger Levesque from 3 Men in a Basement like 2 years ago or something like that, on one of their live sales, and so I finally decided to get it graded, and yeah, definitely happy getting the 7.5, the upper end of the range as I was expecting, and you know, that staining just holding it back a little bit, because otherwise I think it could have gotten maybe an 8.0 without the staining, possibly even an 8.5, because I mean, this book it's got a couple spine ticks, but it's a really, really clean copy of this book. And this is another one of those that if you can get this book without creasing on the front, you know, especially like big creases on the black or on the red, just really, really pops. So, yep, definitely happy with that one. Again, off-white to white. A lot of off-white to white books, so happy with that. All right, so what are we gonna get next here? Is this one a little thicker? I don't know, we'll see. All right, okay, so this one is Batman number 62. It's actually a pretty decent presenting copy. This is one that I showed in an Instagram picture where the comic book presser had fixed a really nasty spine roll on this book. So it presents really, really well. The issue is, unfortunately, it has a big ad clipped out of the, it has a big ad clipped out of like the last page. And so that, unfortunately, I'm almost certain is going to give it a 0.5. I've seen sometimes, depending on the size of the ad, you can maybe get a 1 or a 1.5. I even have one of my early Batmans is a 1.8 with an ad or a coupon clipped out. But this one's pretty big, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's a 0.5. Yeah, so 0.5. You've got the coupon cut out of page 24. But otherwise, it's just such a nice presenting copy of this book. Actually, my other copy I think is a 1.0. And this one looks so much better than that one. That one is missing like some big pieces on the front. And so I love this cover. I've talked about this cover before. This is basically, I see it as like the crazy cat lady from The Simpsons that's like chucking cats at Batman and Robin. But this has one of those starburst, whatever you want to call it, type covers where it fades from the orange to the red, which similar to X-Men #4. I just think it looks so awesome. And yeah, no, I always love the back covers on these. These ads they're just so bright. They really pop back in the golden age. But cool Catwoman cover. Oh, and I forgot, I didn't check if they made a note about that. They didn't. So if you're wondering, they did not make a note about the single staple. And so here you can see it, basically. There's the staple at the top, right here. And no staple at the bottom. So CGC has made that change recently that I made the video about. A lot of people have made videos about where they aren't putting those notes on here unless it's about something that's missing. I don't know exactly when they're putting that into effect, but I just got these back, and I would generally expect that to be something that would have been put on the label as like only single staple or something like that, and it wasn't there. So I don't know if that's already in effect or not. This one, it has the coupon cutout, which they said would continue to be there, but they would take out the words incomplete or affects story. And this doesn't say incomplete, so it's very possible that they have already implemented those rules in full effect with this grading. I don't know for sure, though. All right. So how many are we through? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, we got a few more to go here. I think I had another Batman book in here. Yes, so let's see if that's what this one is. All right, one of the best Batman covers, one of the best Neil Adams covers of all time. This is Batman number 251, classic Joker cover. This is, this is like a big turning point for the Joker, where he becomes more of an evil character instead of a clownish gangster villain. And this one, it had a lot of general wear to it. I had it as a 4.0 to a 4.5. Let's see how we did. 5.0. All right. I'm happy with that. And so this one, just things to notice or to note about this book, just for your awareness when you're grading books, that this crease here definitely impacts the grade. That's a long crease, impacts the grade. This crease impacts the grade. But this down here, this is a printer crease. This is caused by basically the paper rolling over on itself and getting, goes through the rollers and causes this crease. It's considered a manufacturing defect. And so this type of crease does not affect the grade. You can usually, when you have these, you usually see them on the back cover too. Not always, but usually. And that's where you can see it right here. You've got that same printer crease on the back cover. And just something that, if somebody isn't really aware, if they don't have that knowledge, they might think, oh, that's a big crease that's impacting the grade. It doesn't. You can get 9/8 with those creases. I've seen 9/8 with those creases on modernish books too. I think like a New Mutants 98 was the one where I've seen it had like multiple printer creases up here. And yeah, it impacts the visual appeal of the book, but it doesn't impact the grade. But yeah, 5.0, creamed off white pages, classic cover. Definitely deserves that classic cover designation. And yeah, real happy getting a 5.0 on that book. All right, so I'm gonna move these books and then I'll set back up again. All right, so we're 9 books in. I think I'll try to go through, I'll do 3 more, since I have the kind of the longer intro in this video. The other video I'll do a little shorter intro. But let's see what this one is. All right, this is an awesome book. This is pre-code horror book. This is Black Cat Comics number 29. You've got kind of the bondage, witch burning. I think there's a skull. Yep, there's a skull right down there on this cover. So it's a cool cover. It's got a lot of great elements on it. This book is actually, from the front cover, it is a stunning book. But I'm going to try to show it from the back cover so you can see. You see all this. There's like all this stuff on the back cover. I don't really know if it was hard to tell if it was staining or some kind of like really bad foxing. But let's see if you can see it here too. I mean, it's really dark, and so it's actually on the front cover too, but it doesn't show up because of the orange. But you can see it on the inside of the front cover. Now, if they treat this like foxing, it seems like they've been treating foxing pretty nice, and so maybe I'll get a higher grade than I was expecting, but I was treating this almost like staining, and I had it at a 4.5 because of that. Let's see how we did. 6.0. Yeah, I'm telling you, that is something to be aware of now. This foxing, they are treating the foxing less harshly than I would normally expect. And so, I mean, because this is, I would call this like severe. I mean, like it's almost like rust stains or something, but I think it is really heavy foxing. I mean, that's really, when you see it up close, it really does look like just very heavy foxing. It's just dark. It's a lot darker than what you see in these other books. I'll check the graders notes to see what they call it, if they marked it as foxing. But a 6.0, that's a nice book with this. And again, something that's why I think these are useful for me. They're useful if you're watching these and if you're trying to grade your books and you see that foxing isn't really getting hit that hard, adjust how you are estimating the grades on your books. And that's what I'm going to do moving forward. I am not going to hit a book as harshly for foxing, and I am hitting books much more harshly for things like spine splits. So yeah, 6.0, off-white pages, got, bondage cover, Black Cat Comics 29, really awesome cover. So very happy with that. Yeah, that's great. All right. So this is number 11. All right, so this is a character that's been in the spotlight a little bit recently. We saw that those set photos of Blue Beetle from the new show. I don't think it's a movie. I think it's a show that's coming out, but I could be wrong. Could be a movie. I don't know. But this is Blue Beetle number 1. This is the first running or ongoing series of Ted Kord as Blue Beetle, but this is also the first appearance of the Question. And the Question is actually the character that Rorschach is based on in The Watchmen. A lot of these, or almost all of these Charlton characters were what the Watchmen characters were based on. The Blue Beetle, I think, was it the Owl or whatever? So this one, let's see here. I had this one at a 6.65, but it's actually an extremely nice presenting copy. It had a small amount of staining on it, though. So again, I wouldn't be all that surprised if this book gets a higher grade. I hit it really hard for the staining, but this is, I mean, you can see, like, this is a stunning copy of this book. Try to not show the grade. Yeah, I mean, it's just like very, very little spine wear, very little edge wear. The staining was somewhere like right around one of these guys. I can't remember exactly, but it was really light, and you could only really see it when you held the book at an angle in the light. So it's possible it doesn't get hit that hard. So let's see. Yeah, 7.5. All right, nice. Yeah, so that's a nice little upside on that one. Let's see if I can find the staining, see if I can get it to show. I don't know. There's some Newton rings there, so it's a little difficult to see in that area. But oh well, regardless, 7.5, nice. And I was hitting staining really hard because I'd been seeing staining getting hit really hard, and it just didn't seem to hit quite as hard for this one. Off-white to white pages, and there you go. First appearance of the Question, 7.5, really nice copy of this book. All right, now the last book in here should be a Golden Age book, also from the Blue Beetle run, but the first volume of the Blue Beetle run, if they're in order. Yes, All right. So this is what you would call kind of like, I often talk about the good girl art covers. This is what you would call a bad girl art cover. You've got the, attractive woman that's dressed as more like, she's like a villain. She's got the money and the gun. You've got old school Blue Beetle jumping in through the back. I had this one at a 5 to a 5.5. Let's see how we did. Yeah, 5.0. All right, can't complain. So in the range that I expected. I mean, it's a nice presenting copy, but really the thing that hurts it, it's that spine wear again. Same type of issue I had on that earlier book, on that Eerie #1. You've got some pretty rough spine wear where it wears through the color there. But an otherwise very nice presenting copy of this book. And these Fox Feature Syndicate books were not known for their really high quality materials, and so they would tend to take damage pretty easily. What do we get on page quality? Creamed off white pages. But yeah, just a cool Golden Age, bad girl art cover, Blue Beetle, number 51, 5.0. Fun book to end this one on. So, I'm going to do the next 13 books in a separate video. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you'd like to see more content like this. I've got more videos over here if you'd like to watch some of my other videos, and the subscription button right here. If you'd like to subscribe to the channel, I'd really appreciate it, and I will see you in the next video.